Have you ever dreamt of finding that perfect Greek spot, but maybe one that's still a little under the radar? Not the usual islands packed with tourists, but somewhere genuinely special, maybe with history, amazing coastlines, and, well, a surprising amount of opportunity. Well, that's exactly where we're diving in today. We're focusing on Kavala. It's this really vibrant coastal city up in northern Greece. And according to some pretty interesting recent research, it's rapidly becoming the next hotspot for short-term rentals. So our mission today is to unpack the core insights from this new investment guide. It's called Why Kavala is Greece's Next Airbnb Hotspot Investment Guide 2025. We basically want to give you the fast track, help you understand why savvy investors are looking at Kavala and, how you might potentially get involved. And honestly, when we started digging into the data for this deep dive, what immediately struck me, and I think it'll surprise you too, is just how much the tourism scene in Greece is actually changing. The numbers coming out of Kavala, they really tell a story of growth. Okay, so let's unpack this. The numbers don't lie when it comes to Kavala's tourism boom. The data we've pulled, it's genuinely compelling. The guide highlights a massive 42% increase in tourism arrivals in the Kavala region in 2024. That's compared to the year before.
Wow, 42%. That's huge.
It really is. And what's interesting is it's not just any visitors. These seem to be international travelers who are specifically seeking, authentic Greek experiences or maybe moving away from the super tourist saturated islands. And from our own internal data, we manage over 50 properties there. We've seen the average daily rates, the ADR, jump by 28% year over year in Kavala, plus occupancy rates consistently hitting over 80% during the peak season. These are, pretty impressive figures for a market that's still considered emerging.
That 42% jump is astounding, isn't it?
Ooh.
It definitely suggests a significant shift. And what's particularly fascinating here, I think, beyond just the raw numbers, is this extended season we're seeing. Unlike the traditional Greek islands where the tourist season often peaks for maybe 3-4 intense months.
Sure.
Kavala's diverse attractions, you've got historical sites, nature, its accessibility. They support strong bookings from April all the way through November.
April to November, that's quite a stretch.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this much longer revenue window, it fundamentally changes the annual returns for STR property owners. It offers a much more stable, prolonged period of income. It's not just a short peak. It feels more like a sustained high plateau.
That extended season is definitely a massive plus. But does the guide mention any maybe downsides or challenges with that, like more wear and tear on properties or needing staff for longer? Or is the growth just so strong right now that it kind of covers those issues?
That's a really good point. The guide mainly focuses on the upside, the revenue benefits, but it does implicitly reinforce the need for really solid management, which I know we'll get into later.
Okay.
A longer season naturally means more management effort, sure. But for professionally run property, those costs are factored in. They're generally offset by this significantly higher annual income you can achieve. So it's more of an operational thing to plan for, not necessarily something that stops it being profitable in this kind of emerging market.
Got it. So we see the impressive growth, the long season, but the big question is why? Why Kavala specifically? What is it about this city that's capturing the modern traveler's heart?
What really boils down to two main things the guide emphasizes. First, modern travelers are increasingly prioritizing authenticity and, aesthetic appeal. They want genuine, Instagram-worthy places.
Right, the visuals matter.
They really do. Places with cultural richness and natural beauty. Kavala just delivers on that. You've got the Byzantine walls, the Ottoman architecture, the incredibly vibrant harbor. It creates this, picture-perfect backdrop that people are actively looking for. It feels authentic, not like a theme park.
And it's not just about Kavala itself, right? It sounds like its location is almost a kind of secret weapon.
Absolutely. That's the second key element. Its strategic location advantages. For instance, being so close to Thasos Island gives guests the best of both worlds.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you get this sophisticated city base, but you also have super easy access to those pristine island beaches. Morning coffee in a historic square, afternoon on a secluded beach. It's doable.
Nice.
And crucially, it's very accessible for visitors from the Balkans, Bulgaria, North Macedonia especially. This creates a steady stream of regional tourism that, frankly, many other Greek destinations, particularly the islands, just don't capture.
Right, a whole different visitor stream.
Exactly. So this unique positioning allows hosts in Kavala to target multiple traveler segments, history buffs, beach lovers, the regional tourists. It's quite diverse.
Okay, so the demand is there, the appeal is clear. But for someone actually thinking about investing, location is everything, isn't it? And Kavala isn't just one uniform market. The guide points out these distinct areas within the region, each with its own flavor and performance. Let's start with Paleotsifliki. What's the story there? What makes it stand out?
Paleotsifliki has definitely carved out its niche as the top performer for premium vacation rentals. The guide highlights that it commands the highest rates. We're talking luxury villas achieving ADRs of like 150 to 250 per night during peak season.
Wow, okay, so definitely high end.
Yes, it clearly appeals to more affluent international guests, people looking for those pristine beaches and a quieter, more upscale atmosphere.
And the guide mentions success there hinges on positioning it as a luxury retreat, professional photos, high-end amenities, top service.
Yeah.
Is that just standard advice for luxury, or is there something about Kavala being an emerging market that makes those things even more critical than, say, in Mykonos, where luxury is expected?
That's a really sharp question. While good amenities are always key in luxury, in an emerging market like Paleotsifliki, they do more than just signal luxury. They build credibility. They set a benchmark.
Oh.
Guests coming to a less globally famous destination often rely much more heavily on the listing quality, the photos, the reviews. So those professional photos and high-end features aren't just selling luxury, they're selling trust and reliability. And the guide notes something interesting. Properties managed by experienced STR specialists there achieve occupancy rates 25% higher than self-managed ones. That really underlines the value of that professional polish.
Fascinating difference. Okay, so then we shift over to Nia Iraklitsa. Sounds like maybe a different feel, offering more of a balance.
Indeed. Nia Iraklitsa offers, I'd say, a really compelling balance between affordability and profitability. Its beachfront properties are a huge draw for families and couples looking for that relaxed coastal holiday.
Makes sense.
And the numbers back it up. We're seeing consistent 85% occupancy rates, even into the shoulder seasons, which is very strong. Plus, its growing popularity with Greek domestic tourists adds this nice layer of stability. You have a built-in demand base there.
Right.
Properties with private beach access or good sea views, they consistently get premium rates. And the guide really emphasizes that smart owners there invest in the outdoor experience, BBQ areas, sun loungers, that sort of thing. It's about the whole package.
Okay. And then the third area the guide highlights is Nia Peramos, calling it the one with the greatest growth potential. What's driving that?
Nia Peramos really does represent that emerging opportunity. It's gaining momentum thanks to ongoing infrastructure improvements and more focused tourism promotion. It seems to particularly appeal to travelers looking for genuine cultural experiences.
Yeah.
It still has that authentic Greek village feel.
Okay. Less polished, maybe, more traditional.
Exactly. And the guide points out that properties emphasizing local traditions, maybe offering more authentic hospitality, they consistently get outstanding reviews and attract repeat bookings. It's about immersion.
So it sounds like understanding these different profiles, Paleo, Iraklitsa, Peramos, is absolutely critical. It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all investment strategy in Kavala, is it?
Not at all. It's about strategic matching. Recognizing the unique character of each area helps an investor align their property type, whether it's a luxury villa or a family apartment, with the right target guest. And that's how you ultimately maximize returns. Putting a luxury villa in Nia Peramos, for example, might not work nearly as well as it would in Paleotsifliki. Right. Okay, so let's say you've picked your spot, you know who your ideal guest is. What about actually running the property day to day? The guide seems to really hammer home the critical role of technology and professional management. What are the must-haves for a modern STR to really succeed there?
Yeah. The guide is very clear on this. You absolutely need sophisticated channel management. That's crucial to prevent double bookings across Airbnb, Booking.com, maybe Vrbo, other platforms.
Essential.
Then dynamic pricing algorithms. These aren't just nice to haves anymore. They optimize your revenue based on real-time demand, local events, what competitors are doing, and of course 200, 400, and 4/7 guest communication systems. Modern travelers just expect quick, almost instant responses. Okay, the guide pushes hard for professional management, but thinking about a new investor, maybe someone just starting out, could self-management ever make sense in Kavala, maybe just initially? Or does this market really demand that professional support right from day one to see those strong returns mentioned?
It's a fair question, especially if you're new to STRs.
Yeah.
And technically, yes, you can self-manage, but the guide's data is pretty persuasive on this point. Properties using professional STR management services in Kavala, They see average revenue increases of 40% compared to self-managed ones.
40%, that's significant.
It really is. And this isn't just about convenience for the owner. It comes directly from things like optimized pricing, better guest service, which drives those crucial reviews, and strategic listing optimization across all platforms. Looking at the bigger picture, it's really about efficiency and maximizing every single booking. It's moving beyond just having a property to actually running it like a lean business.
Makes sense. So beyond the local appeal and the smart management tactics, what about the bigger picture? What larger market trends are helping push Kavala into the spotlight right now?
Well, there are a couple of really powerful macro trends playing in Kavala's favor. First, you've got this growing awareness and, frankly, concern about over-tourism in the really famous spots like Santorini, Mykonos.
Definitely hearing more about that.
Yeah, and it's genuinely driving travelers to look for alternatives, for less saturated locations. Plus, you have the rise of the sustainability-conscious traveler. They actively prefer authentic experiences that don't feel like they're contributing to those overcrowding problems. Kavala, being positioned as this emerging, perhaps more responsible destination, really appeals to that mindset. It feels like a breath of fresh air.
That makes a lot of sense. So maybe no more fighting for a sun lounger at 6 a.m.? What else is boosting Kavala?
Hopefully not. Secondly, there's noticeable governmental support. Initiatives promoting northern Greece tourism mean more marketing exposure and, importantly, investment in infrastructure for regions like Kavala.
Okay, so support from the top down.
Exactly. And maybe the biggest trend of all, the global rise of remote work. This creates sustained demand for longer stays, not just week-long vacations.
The digital nomad factor.
Precisely. Kavala's generally reliable internet and its lower cost of living compared to major hubs make it really attractive for digital nomads. For property owners, this means potentially higher average booking values and reduced turnover costs. It adds another layer of stability to the investment.
That's a great point. So these big trends, they're not just fleeting fads, are they? They feel like fundamental shifts in how people travel, how they live and work now.
I think so. They really seem to solidify Kavala's long-term potential as a destination for investment and for tourism.
Okay, so knowing all this fantastic potential, how does someone actually, capitalize on this opportunity in Kavala? The guide lays out some clear, actionable steps. For someone new entering this market, what's maybe the most crucial first step, given that Kavala is still emerging?
I would say the most crucial initial step is that thorough market research. Really digging in to identify the optimal property type and, critically, the location for you. You need to think about proximity to attractions. Is beach access important for your target guest? What's the specific neighborhood character? Does it align with the travelers you want?
You're right. Do your homework first.
Absolutely. And after that, the guide strongly recommends partnering with experienced local STR managers, people who genuinely understand Kavala's specific market dynamics. Good professional services handle everything: listing optimization, photos, guest comms, cleaning, which is especially vital if you're investing from overseas.
And once you have the right team, what about the property itself? Any key things to focus on?
Yes, invest in quality amenities that make your property stand out. High-speed internet is non-negotiable now. Modern appliances, comfortable outdoor spaces, even a small balcony makes a difference. And don't underestimate the power of local touches. Maybe some traditional Greek decor elements, or even partnerships with local businesses like offering a discount at a nearby taverna. These create authentic experiences. What's fascinating here is that it's about building a really sustainable, attractive offering. It's not just listing an empty space online. These details, they create memorable stays, which drive those all-important positive reviews and, crucially, get you repeat bookings down the line.
Okay, so wrapping up our deep dive here, it really sounds like Kavala presents this unique, quite compelling opportunity for property investors and STR entrepreneurs. The mix of rising tourism demand, those longer seasons we talked about, and the clear impact of professional management, it seems to be creating almost ideal conditions for potentially substantial returns. And the guide's core message seems pretty clear. Timing and execution are key, right?
Exactly.
Properties getting into the market now, especially with that professional management and smart positioning, they're likely to build strong market positions before competition really ramps up.
That's absolutely right. As tourism keeps growing, as the infrastructure continues to improve, those early investors stand to benefit from both potential property value increases and strong rental income. So the question isn't really if Kavala will become a major STR destination. The guide makes a strong case it's well on its way. The real question is perhaps will you be positioned to benefit when it fully arrives? And maybe more broadly, What steps could you take to explore similar opportunities wherever they might pop up? Not just in Greece, but other emerging hotspots globally. Definitely something to think about.